Hello there and welcome to this PowerPoint presentation on childhood obesity and family healthy lifestyle management. In this session, we will be looking at information about adult and childhood obesity and the risks of childhood obesity, information about healthy eating and steps to incorporate healthy eating into the family day-to-day, information about childhood and family weight management services that we run here in Medway, and there will be interactive tasks to have a go at on the way. Feel free to take notes while you're watching this video. We measure levels of childhood obesity using the National Child Measurement Programme, which runs each year and measures the weight and height of children in reception and in Year 6. Last year, 22.1% of children in reception were overweight or living with obesity in this country. This level was slightly higher in boys than in girls. And by Year 6, this level had risen to 35.8% of children. And if we put this into numbers, it means that out of every 100 children in England, 15 are living with obesity and 12 are living with overweight. Obesity levels are increasing with age. Now here in Medway, 24.5% of children in reception are overweight or obese, and 38.3% of children in Year 6 are overweight or obese. This is above the average for the southeast of England and England. And the picture is the same when we look at adults. Last year, 67.8% were overweight or obese here in Medway. And this level is, again, above the national average and the average for South East England. For a child living with obesity, there can be several complications, such as issues with sleep, poor self-esteem and depression, sleep apnea, asthma, musculoskeletal issues, cardiovascular diseases, and even type 2 diabetes. Unfortunately, there isn't one quick fix to solve obesity, and this is because it's caused by a whole range of factors in your life. Some examples are food production and production systems, your food consumption levels, societal influence, your individual psychology and your individual activity levels, your environment that you live in and what is around you, and even your biology and genes. The Eat Well Guide is a visual to show how much of each food group we should be eating every day to get a balanced diet. Throughout the day, more than a third of what we eat should be comprised of fruit and vegetables. We need 5 portions of fruit and veg, preferably 3 vegetables and 2 different fruits. We should also consume a fair amount of starchy carbohydrates such as potatoes, oats, bread, rice or pasta. We can choose whole grain versions or high fibre versions where possible. The pink section shows the protein that we should have, things like beans, fish, eggs and meat. We should also have some dairy products, but try and limit these to lower fat or lower sugar options. And finally, the smallest section should be made up of our oils and spreads, which should be used in small amounts. The Eat Well Guide also shows us how to read food packaging labels when we're shopping, and tells us we need to drink 6 to 8 glasses of water a day to stay hydrated. This includes sugar-free drinks such as tea, coffee or a sugar-free squash mixed with water. Our unhealthy cakes, biscuits, crisps and chocolate are outside of the guide. This is because they're not necessary for our body, but they can be consumed in small amounts as a treat every so often. We have also created an African and Caribbean Eat Well Guide and a South Asian Eat Well Guide if you prefer a traditional but healthy diet. We know we should be eating 5 portions of fruit and vegetables a day, but what are the benefits of our fruit and veg? Is it A, they're good for bone health, B, they're good sources of vitamins, minerals and fibre, C, they help to control our blood glucose levels, or D, they're a good substitute for sweets? Pause the video and decide now. The answer is B. Fruit and vegetables are good sources of vitamins, minerals and fibre. We need to eat 5 portions a day, and this can be fresh, frozen, tinned, dried or juiced. But remember, if you choose fruit juice as one of your 5 a day, this should be limited to 150 millilitres because it will be high in sugar. Next up is carbohydrates. What do we think is the main benefit of our carbohydrates? Is it A, good sources of energy, including glucose? B, do they help to build muscle? C, help to control our blood glucose levels? Or D, do they make us feel full? Pause now. If you put A, you're correct. They're good sources of energy. Carbohydrates should make up just over a third of what we eat, and we can choose higher fiber or whole grain varieties to be even healthier. Starchy foods are good for energy and the main sources of a range of nutrients in our diet, but remember, we should still consume them with portion control. The next section is about proteins. Proteins include beans, pulses, fish, eggs, meat. But what are the main benefits? Is it A, they're good for bone health? B, they help with water retention? C, they help make us look slim? Or D, they're essential for growth and repair? Choose your answer now. The answer is D. Proteins are essential for growth and repair. They should make up about 12% of our plate because they're good sources of proteins, vitamins, and minerals. And protein is found throughout the body, in your bones, muscles, skin, hair, and almost every body part and tissue. They power chemical reactions and are responsible for hemoglobin, which is what carries the oxygen around the body in your blood. Next up is dairy. What do we think are the main benefits of dairy? Is it A, to support our brain function? B, they're an important source of calcium to keep bones healthy? C, do they provide us with energy? Or D, help control our sleep? Pick now. The answer is B. They are an important source of calcium to keep your bones healthy. We need to also remember to get some vitamin D from the sun, which helps our body to absorb calcium. Remember to choose lower fat varieties of milk and yogurts, such as semi-skimmed or skimmed milk, which contains the same amount of nutrients but just less fat. Calcium can also be found in things like canned fish with bones, such as sardines or green leafy vegetables. And finally, what are the main benefits of our fats, such as oils and spreads? Is it A, to support a healthy heart? B, do they help carry oxygen around the body? C, fat aids the absorption of vitamins into the body? Or D, they help nerve activity? The answer is C, fat aids the absorption of vitamins into the body. Unsaturated fats are the healthier fats, including vegetable oils, rapeseed, olive, and sunflower oils. Remember that all types of fat are high in energy, so they should only be eaten in small amounts. In the next section of this presentation, we're going to look at what a healthy diet should look like, including portion sizes, what are calories, how do we gain weight, what is your BMI and what does this mean, what ingredients could we use, how do we lose weight, how do we maintain weight, and some of our top tips. Let's talk about calories, what they are and how they affect us. Calories are a unit of energy. In a food, they represent the energy that our bodies get from eating the food. Different nutrients provide different amount of calories. As you can see, carbohydrates and proteins offer around 4 calories per gram, whereas fat provides 9 calories per gram. Your body uses energy for all different types of activity, such as walking, running, sitting, and sleeping. The type of food that you consume can have a huge impact on your energy levels, your mood, your overall well-being. So how do we know whether what we're eating is too much, too little, or just the right amount? Well, we can calculate your caloric intake to estimate how many calories your body will require to maintain a healthy weight. It's important to find out what your healthy weight should be, as it's a base to allow yourself to know whether you're overeating or undereating. And this number is based on factors like your age, your sex, your activity level, and your metabolism. The energy going into your body should balance the energy that you're using up. And you can use an online calorie calculator to make this easier. It will show you the number of calories you should consume on a daily average to maintain your healthy weight. It takes into account your basal metabolic rate, which is how many calories your body needs to perform its most basic needs, such as resting, breathing, circulating blood, controlling your body temperature, etc. So what does BMI stand for and what does it do? Well, your BMI stands for your body mass index, and it's a numerical value derived from a person's height and weight. It's a general indicator of whether a person has a healthy body weight relative to their height, and for children it also considers their age. You might have come across the saying, the BMI is not accurate, because it would consider a rugby player as either overweight or living with obesity. And technically this is correct. The BMI doesn't take into consideration the amount of muscle mass someone has. However, the average person shouldn't really compare themselves to a minority of extreme sports person, because their expenditure, their muscle mass, their fat mass, etc. are not the same as ours. Let's have a look at some information on two different people. Pause the video while you read the information and work out the difference as to how one of these people have a higher body fat percentage than the other. Did you notice that although the two people are the same age, same height, same weight, and in the same BMI category, they have different body fat percentages? Michael has a body fat percentage of around 19%, whereas Dominic's is 63%. They have the same caloric intake, that is, they eat the same amount of calories every day, but their caloric output is very different. Michael spends about 3,200 calories a day, whereas Dominic only spends 1,200, and their diets are very different. Michael has a diet high in fiber, high in protein, high in carbohydrates, low in fat, he doesn't eat takeaway, and he has very minimal unhealthy snacks. Whereas Dominic has a diet high in fat, high in carbohydrates, low in fiber, low in protein, he has takeaway 5 times a week, and he eats 3 unhealthy snacks each day. Their activity levels are also different. Michael is a rugby player, so he's doing high intensity exercise 6 times a week, whereas Dominic works from home, sits down a lot, and does little to no physical activity. So Michael's foods fuel him with energy, allow him to stay active and proceed with high intensity exercise 6 days a week, and his profession is physically demanding, which lowers his sedentary hours. Whereas Dominic's food does the complete opposite. It makes him feel tired, it doesn't provide him with energy, meaning he feels tired all the time, and he feels sick when he exercises. He's not as active as he should be, which means his sedentary hours are extremely high. If you are looking to increase the amount of fruit and veg your child eats, you may need to introduce new foods. It can be difficult and overwhelming introducing new foods, but trying different ways of doing so can develop their curiosity. Here are some examples. Firstly, you could try taking your children shopping and provide them with a mini shopping list of a few fruit and vegetables for them to go and get. Given the opportunity to find their own fruits and vegetables may coax them into trying it, it will make them more independent, and it will make them feel involved in decisions. You could also taste the fruit and veg with them. Our children look up to us and tend to copy what their parents do. So get them to look, get them to tell you about how it feels, get them to smell it, lick it, and then taste them together. Perhaps give them a child-friendly knife so that they could cut up the food themselves, again feeling more independent. Remember to let them have a go and not to take over. You could disguise your veggies. Have you tried hiding them in your main meals? How about chopping up some vegetables and adding them to your sauces? Remember, don't give up. If your child dislikes the fruit and vegetables the first time, it can take up to 20 times before a child will accept a new food, and repeated exposure will make the food more and more familiar and helps to reduce fear. And why not turn it into something fun, like a game? Giving children the opportunity to use their five senses to investigate new foods can take away so much pressure. So draw some stars, get the children to colour in the stars every time they complete an assignment, such as looking, touching, smelling, licking, or even feeling a new fruit or vegetable. If they've done all five, they can have a sticker, and if they get 10 stickers, they can choose a prize. Rewarding your child with a sticker instead of food such as cakes or cookies is much healthier. And it's better to accumulate stickers and allow them to choose a prize later on, because they'll learn about delayed gratification and patience. Meal prepping at the start of the week can make your life much easier. The benefits of meal prepping include saving money, saving time, help aid in your nutritional balance, reducing stress, making meals more creative, reducing food waste, and they can help with weight loss. So discuss with your family what types of food and meals they like to eat. Keep a food diary to see the pattern of your meals and see what needs to be changed or what could be added. You could then make a monthly or weekly calendar to record your meal ideas. This can help you to make your shopping lists, and you could fill in a table like the one on the screen. You could also collect healthy recipes or clip prints from magazines and websites to save into a binder or an online spreadsheet. You could consider specific meals for certain days of the week. Remember Wednesday as Spring Spaghetti Day? Some families enjoy the consistency of knowing what to expect, and it can help ease your planning. Examples are Meatless Monday, Whole Grain Wednesday, Stir Fry Friday, etc. You could start small, aiming to create enough dinners for 2 or 3 days of the week, and then work your way up. Let's take a look at an example meal plan. On Monday, for breakfast, we could have porridge with oat milk, fresh berries, and water. For lunch, we could have a grilled chicken sandwich on wholemeal bread, vegetable crisps, fresh orange juice, and a pear. And for dinner, we might have homemade spaghetti bolognese with steamed veg. You can also factor in snacks, which will reduce hunger between meals. Some healthy options are homemade hummus with cucumber sticks, low-fat yogurt with berries, or apple slices and peanut butter. Regular snacks will also reduce cravings for unhealthier foods. As you can see, we could cook something on Monday, such as grilled chicken and mince for our bolognese, and reuse them later in the week to save money and save time. The grilled chicken from the sandwich can be reused in fajitas, and the mince in the bolognese could be reused in a chili. Try and think about what you might schedule for the rest of the week. Let's play another game. Which of these tomato ketchups do you think has more sugar and more salt? Did you guess right? It's actually the Heinz tomato ketchup that has more salt and more sugar compared to the Morrison's own brand. Next up, which bagel do you think has more sugar and more salt? If you said the Warburton's bagels, you would be correct. The Warburton's bagels have slightly more salt and more sugar than the Morrison's own brand. Next up, which chocolate bar do you think has more sugar and more salt? The Nature Valley protein bar or the Snickers? If you said Snickers, you would be correct. Snickers actually has slightly less salt than a Nature Valley bar, but it has more than 3 times the amount of sugar. And for your final challenge, which biscuit do you think has more sugar and salt, the Digestives or the Belvita? If you said the Digestives, you're correct. Digestives have more salt, whereas Belvita don't have any salt, and Digestives have slightly more sugar. Now let's look at portion sizes. The image shows different ways you could measure portion sizes quickly and easily. The size of your fist is around 1 cup. A cupped hand is about the size of half a cup or a portion of nuts. A fingertip is about a teaspoon, the amount of sauces we should be using, and a thumb is 2 tablespoons. The size of your palm is the size of a portion of meat. Now, it's important to measure our food, especially when we're buying, such as cereal. We need to eat on smaller plates so that our plate looks more full and we're not encouraged to fill it up. We only need to cook what you'll need to avoid overeating. Meal prep can help you avoid waste and make sure you're eating correct amounts. We need to make sure we're drinking water between our meals. We need to also drink water while we're eating. And you need to listen to know. If your child says they're full up, they probably are. Using your hands to control the amount of food you're eating is a great way to navigate the right portion size for you or for people you care for. Think about it. The palm of an adult-sized man is much larger than the palm of a 5-year-old boy. So for children, the amount of fruit in a portion should be about the size of one palm, and the amount of vegetables, 2 of their palms. For butter, about the size of their fingertip, and for cheese, the size of 2 of their fingers. For carbohydrates and meat, around the size of a palm again, and for fish or chicken, the size of one of their hands. This can help you make sure that you're not overeating or feeding your child too much. Another great way of ensuring that you eat enough but not too much is by changing your plate. Doesn't that sound simple? Well, just imagine how much food you could fit on a small breakfast plate versus a large dinner plate. Well, here's an example that shows the same foods but on different plates. You can see that the larger plate has much more space, meaning that you naturally fill up the whole plate, whereas with a smaller plate you're able to put less food and it will still look full. And finally, we're going to look at some tips on how we can eat well for less. Eating a healthy diet does not always have to be really expensive. Let's now take a look at some takeaway options. If you were to buy a McDonald's Happy Meal, you would be getting 4 chicken nuggets, small fries, and an orange juice. This contains 538 calories, 20.8 grams of fat, 27.5 grams of sugar, and 1.31 grams of salt. The cost is £3.99 per person, so if you bought 4, this would be £15.96. If you look at ordering pizza, you might get a pizza, pepperoni for example, £25.99 per pizza, and this is supposed to serve 3 to 4, so it should be about 660 calories per person or £16.49 per person. However, if you bought 2 pizzas, this would be more than £50. So let's look at making a bolognese at home instead. If you were to go to Tesco, you would buy £2 spaghetti, £2.50 low-fat bolognese sauce, and £3.49 lean beef steak mince. This would total at £7.99 or £1.99 each in a family of 4, and the calories are much less at 496 per serving. If you wanted to make it even cheaper and even healthier, you could shop in Aldi. You could buy cheaper spaghetti, 2 tins of chopped tomatoes, some lean beef steak mince, a packet of carrots, and some peas. This would total to £5.25 or 49p per person in a family of 4, and the serving would be only 312 calories. Let's say you fancied ordering a curry or an Indian. Instead, you could make this at home. You could go to Tesco, buy steamed rice, chicken breast, coconut milk, brown onions and carrots, and this would total at £9.91 or £2.48 per person in a family of 4. This would be 312 calories per serving. Or again, you could go to Aldi, you could buy red lentils, coconut milk, naan breads, onions and carrots and get this at a total of £4.10 or £1.03 per person in a family of 4. The calories per serving here are 394. Before we finish this session, I'm going to share my 10 top tips on how to achieve a healthy lifestyle. Step 1. Make sure you're eating a healthy, balanced diet. Return to the Eat Well guide we went through at the start, and this week, maybe make a food diary of all the foods you eat. You could then go back and have a look at the Eat Well guide to see which foods you might be eating too much of or which food groups you might need to eat a little bit more of. Try and encourage more fruit and veg intake, especially in your children. You could offer fruit and veg with every single meal, a piece of fruit with breakfast, some carrots, celery, cucumber at lunch, and hide them in your sauces in your dinners. Don't skip breakfast. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and slow releasing energy options such as oats are perfect to make you feel full up until lunchtime and give you that morning energy boost. Number 4, try and find fun and creative ways to introduce new foods. We discussed hiding food in sauces, we discussed chopping up your own fruit and veg with your kids, or trying it and making a sticker chart for when they achieve different objectives. Try and use fresh ingredients and cook from scratch. A meal plan may help with this, and a shopping list to make sure you only buy what you need. Then make sure you try and stick to that meal plan. You could even cook some dinners on a Sunday night and freeze them for the week ahead. Get the kids involved in meal preps. If they're more familiar with the food and if something they've made themselves, they may be more enthusiastic about trying it because they'd be proud of what they made. Reduce their screen time and encourage more physical activity. Maybe take away their phone or iPad or television for a bit while they go outside and get some exercise. The more physical activity they do, the more tired they'll feel at night, which means they'll get more and a better quality sleep. You could also try eating a few hours before bedtime, so make sure you have time to digest the foods, and you may take away their screens an hour before bed, just so that they have that time to recharge and wind down. Number 8, get active. Make sure that you're encouraging your children to exercise, but even try and do it with them to be a good role model. If they see you eating healthy, then they'll eat healthy. If they see you exercising, they might come and join in alongside you. You could also take up a new sport such as tennis or football and go to the park to do that together. And number 10, make sure you take it one step at a time. Making dramatic changes can be scary, so just change one or two things every so often till you find something that works for you. A good routine will make healthy habits, and healthy eating will become easier. If you are interested in more information about family weight management and more tips like you received today, you could join one of our clubs. We run tri-clubs, one for ages 5 to 7 and one for children ages 7 to 12. These are 12-week fun courses which cover portion size, body image, what's in our food, cravings, and a chance to do some exercise. We also run Fit Fix, which is for teenagers aged 13 to 17, which improves young people's fitness and their knowledge about their choices. For more information, you can call the number or email us, or visit our website. Thank you for participating in this session, Childhood Obesity and Family Healthy Lifestyle Management.